is here. It's time to start thinking about family fun in the outdoors. This is Chris Williams promoting my good friends at Plaza RV in Bondurant. I've now bought 2 travel trailers from this locally owned company in the past 5 years. It's completely changed my family's life. We love spending time in the outdoors, tailgating, and most of all, being together. Camping has been an awesome escape for us, and I would encourage you to think about it as well. Head over to their lot in Bondurant. They have motorhomes, travel trailers, truck trailers, fifth wheels, and more. Check them out today at plazarv.com. They're 100% locally owned. Tell them that Chris Williams sent you.
Success in farming is all about precision and efficiency, ensuring every seed, every drop of water, every nutrient and treatment counts. Terraplex Ag is helping farmers all over Iowa and the Midwest do just that. With precision ag drone technology and support from Terraplex, you'll boost your productivity and make timely and informed decisions, all while reducing your costs and increasing your profit. It's time to revolutionize your farming. Harvest the benefits with Terraplex Ag. Visit TerraplexAg.com.
Hello, it's Sunday, the 7th of April, 2024. Welcome to Williams and Blum here on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network. My name is Chris Williams, joined as always by Brent Blum. We are presented by our friends at Mechdyne, the Mechdyne Corporation. That is spelled, for those of you who would like to check it out, on the web, MECHDYNE.com. That's Mechdyne.com. Great place as the weather's starting to turn here. You want to change things around, they are always hiring and always looking for Iowa Staters to apply. A lot of engineering stuff. They've got jobs from marketing to desk jobs, IT jobs for young people who want to get, if you're an Iowa State student and you would like to get into the mix over at Mechdyne, you can do both at the same time. Mechdyne.com. We're in the Wild Rose Casino Studios, fueled as always by Cody Road Bourbon. Bloom, the portal is probably the hot topic today, as Iowa State has gotten another commitment. Brandton Chatfield. That's gonna be, I want to call him Brandon.
His friends call him Brant.
Oh,
FYI.
Well, that makes it easier.
Yeah, not Brent. Again, great name. Don't get me wrong, but Brant. Long name Brandton. I mean, like we've talked about a little bit, you kind of hinted at this on Wednesday. You take a initial glance at the numbers, you're like, what? But, man, this guy is a Moneyball wizard. Like, the analytics for this dude are off the charts good. Does everything super efficient. And you could literally not get a better guy to just plug in there and do his job than this guy. I mean, it's like literally watching the movie Moneyball. It's like, we got him, because this guy is like the Scott Hatterberg from that movie, for those who watch that. He does all the little things really well, super efficient, doesn't need the ball. And oh, by the way, he's 6'10". So get a little bit more details, but this guy, there's a reason why Iowa State was in on him for a long time. If anybody who follows any of the analytics stuff, this guy's been flying under the radar for a while, and he's the real deal. But he doesn't need the ball. That's the great. He's basically he's a rich, tall man's Jazz Kuntz.
I had a couple people on Twitter be like, "Oh, that's not impressive," and I want to respond. I'm not going to, but Iowa State doesn't need any more ball-heavy scorers. Like that's not the need for this team. You needed more depth in the front court. You get a guy who's almost a 7-footer, and he's 23.
Yeah.
So
that's thick. He's thick too.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I really like the pickup, and there's a couple of connections here. So he played with Jazz Kuntz at Washington State. So he transfers from Seattle, but prior to that was at Washington State. And then also Deshaun Jackson, the Charlotte transfer, also played with Brandton at Washington State. So this is one of those things where, Iowa State, I think, had this kid. I don't think, like, if Duke would have called, I don't think he would have gone there. I think that this kid really wanted to get Iowa State because of the connections. And man, it's just, you look at this whole portal deal, especially this offseason. So Javon Hadley from Colorado, which we both think he will end up at Iowa State Cyclone maybe soon,
Mm-hmm.
officially.
Yep.
Curtis Jones, cousin. You've got this connection. You had the Deshaun Jackson, Jazz Kuntz connect. Like it's all just so
Nate Heisey with UNI
Nate
connections.
Heisey
Kyle
with
Green. Yep.
with Crawford and
Yep. Green.
Kyle Green. It's all so intertwined. Like there's just tentacles that are, and that's the thing too. It's like I just look at all these guys and it's like it's pretty rare Iowa State gets a guy these days without some sort of connection to the past.
Yeah. No, that's true. And there's a reason for that is you trust him. I mean, it takes a special guy to want to play in this system. Like
Yeah.
you can't just take anybody off the street and say, "Hey, go play," because it's hard. And
Yeah.
I mean, just think about all the guys that Rob Jones talked about this year. That it took him a while. But like, all right, do you want to play or do you not want to play? Somebody like Jazz, it took a little bit to buy in. Hassan, it took him a whole year to buy in. It's not easy, so you got to find the right guys. And from all accounts, the 3 commits they have. Hadley, hopefully, as well. Feel really good about that. All of them, kind of the first thing that sticks out is work ethic and low ego, and that's what this team needs. And I think what some of these schools are doing in the portal, it's gathering as much talent as they can, which is great to an extent. But all that talent wants the ball. Iowa State literally picked up 3, if you count Hadley, 4 of the most efficient, low usage players in the portal. Here's a stat for us, C-Dub. This Chatfield guy last year, so not
Mm-hmm.
not 24, but 23. His first year with Seattle. He had an offensive rating of 135 and a usage rate of 17. Okay. An average offensive rating is 100. Zach Edey led the country this year with 129 offensive rating. Chatfield's offensive rating last year was better than Zach Edey's. Granted, it was on about a third of the possession. So he doesn't need the ball. He's not getting the ball. He's not shooting it all the time. But when he does, he's super efficient. Shot 40% from 3 and 23, dipped a little bit to 30% this year. But at 6'10", you can't just leave him open. And I think Iowa State strategically wanted somebody. Jackson can shoot it out to 18 feet as well, where you can't just drop on that drop coverage defense on your 2 bigs. So, again, this guy, he's not going to jump off the page. When you watch him, you're not going to go, "Oh, wow, that is an incredible athlete." But the things add up. He's a high percentage offensive rebounder as well. Good positional size, doesn't turn the ball over. Again, all the little things that add up over a long season where he's going to be one of those players you watch him a lot like Jazz Kuntz. It's like, you know what? First game I didn't see it. Now I see it. And I think he's whether he plays 10 minutes a game or sometimes he'll get up to 20 minutes a game, he will be a valuable piece for this team and yet doesn't take away from the ball usage of the ball heavy guys like Taman, Keyshawn, and Kurt and Milan. So it's like Iowa State is not only getting good talent, they're also piecing that talent within the existing infrastructure that they have. Because at the end of the day, there's only one ball to go around. So I mean, Iowa State has literally done an unbelievable job. It's hard to believe the season ended 9 days ago, and by all accounts, Iowa State analytically is a top 5 team next year with all these pieces. With Hadley, you're a top 3 team analytically. Hadley's another one of those guys where low usage, high efficiency, does everything well, can play multiple positions. Iowa State is literally putting together a 2024 analytical darling of a team. I mean, it's. I would love to know some of the background. I don't know if Thomas Pollard's involved with this for all the, all the analytical stuff that he's doing behind the scenes. But Iowa State clearly had a plan, and data was at the heart of that plan this offseason.
Well said. It's been fun and selfishly, I'm excited, and I know you will be too because it doesn't feel like this transfer season's going to be that long for basketball at least. It'll be more interesting in football coming up.
One more spot for basketball as well, and I think Iowa State at this point they're going to aim for you've got, I hate to say it this way, but you got a bunch of doubles and triples. You can kind of go big, and you're going to go big. Like literally, you need another big guy. But Iowa State can be patient because the musical chairs will stop, and Iowa State's going to be a valuable place to land. So I think Iowa State's not going to just real push it quick. You're going to find the right guy.
Well, especially for a big man, if you want to win, right?
Correct.
Because if you're a guard, Iowa State's not a place that you probably want to entertain going to. But if you're a big, um, a pretty good spot for you in
Gu-
Ames, where you're going to get some action.
Guess who another was the most efficient players in the country this year was?
Deshaun Jackson.
William Kyle from South
Oh,
Dakota State.
well, there you
So,
go.
I mean,
Just one of the
it
two.
yeah, it all fits in. I mean, the Iowa State is looking for guys that don't need the ball, but that will really add. And then, you're looking at a team that was number 1, number 2 in defense last year. Analytically, you're going to drop a little bit, but I think TJ and Kyle Green are like, we can teach them defense, or if they work hard, we can get them where we're at defense. What we can't teach is that offensive efficiency. And Iowa State's, again, it's going to be much improved next year with the pieces they added.
I want to thank a couple of our great sponsors here, and I want to thank our audience too. We challenged everybody on Wednesday it was Forever True Day with the Iowa State University Foundation. Our goal was to have 100 donors. Brent, we had 136
Nice.
with Cyclone Fanatics. So it means a lot because it's cool that clearly we're a sports website. But the thing I love about this fan base is it just goes deeper than that. It just does. I can't explain it to everybody. And we raised over $12,000 for different organizations and colleges and all that good clubs, all that stuff around the university that we all love so much. So I spoke with I've been texting with Valerie over at the foundation. I know they had a really great turnout for Forever True Day. So shout out to them, our friends at the foundation. I know we each gave gifts as well to the Ivy College of Business. I want to give a shout out to them as well. They've sponsored us here on Cyclone Fanatic for a few years now. They've been an awesome partner of ours. We're always pushing people to do the online MBA. Good time of year to start thinking about those
It is.
teams, right? Those things.
Basketball
Yeah.
season's largely over for college.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about
No.
You can study at night now if you wanted to do that. Actually, it could never be. You know more about the NBA than I do, but you can literally take as long as you want to do it, right?
Yeah, up to I think you get a window, but it's like 5 or 6 years. So
Yeah,
you
it's
don't
great.
you don't have to get it all done in 18 months. You can, but yeah, it's by credit. So, and again, people look into your business, your company. A lot of times they will have educational to get that advanced degree. They will cover some of that tuition costs. So it may not be as expensive as you think.
There you go. And last but certainly not least in this round, our buddy Colin Newell at Farm Bureau Financial Services. Another good time of year, spring cleaning. Do it with your finances here during tax season. Colin's saving me like $1,000 a year. He's saving Blum $600 a year. There are dozens, if not hundreds of you now, who have made the switch over to Colin Newell, former Iowa State offensive lineman, and he's a pro. He's a young guy, but he's a pro. He's really good at what he does. Easiest thing you could do is just go into Google and type in Colin 1L, Colin Newell insurance, and go into the Farm Bureau Financial Services page for him and get his contact information. You mentioned the rankings. I just wanted to throw this out there. It's just one of them. You were the one that actually pointed this out to me. The Sporting News has Iowa State at number 2, and it's way too early, top 25 for next season. What does it mean? I don't know. There's so much that's going to change between now and then portal wise, but that's pretty cool. Like, I'm not going to argue with it. I'm not going to be upset with it. Let's go.
No, this is as many expectations going into a year. It'll be right there with that Steve Fromm's first year, with the amount of talent, the amount of expectations coming in. And I would say about that team, you had a first year head coach. You don't have a first year head coach this time around. So expectations for this Iowa State men's program are going to be super high, but I think that's good. I mean, I think you've got a team that knows it can do it. You strategically added pieces. If and when Hadley commits, you're going to be really good, like really good. Leave room for a big guy. And Chris, that's not to mention, Momcilovic is going to get better. Look how much better Taman got in one season. If you get Keyshawn Gilbert to work a little bit on his outside jump shot, and then Curtis, if he continues on his trajectory, I mean, just think about where he grew from December 1 to the end of the year, where he was Iowa State's best offensive player. You
Mm-hmm.
get 10 more pounds on him with Pete Link, and he's got the
That
potential, the way he shoots, to play at the next level. I really believe that.
good point, and that's what I was thinking about with this. Um, Chittum,
Chatfield.
Chatfield. Cody Chittum was coming to my mind for some reason. I'm getting them all mixed up. I finally have Deshaun Jackson's name down. I
It's
kept
no longer, you call him what, Deshaun Dixon there for a while,
Dixon.
or
I kept calling him Deshaun Dixon. Oh my! I need a vacation.
you're getting old, yeah.
It's been a long month. The one thing that excites me about any of these transfers, though, is you just get the feeling that none of these guys have reached their full physical potential.
Right.
Even like Chatfield, who's older and developed, but Pete and those guys, they will put them through hell this summer. And I don't know, maybe Charlotte has this elite strength and conditioning program that I don't know about, but
Yep.
it makes me like a guy like Heisey, right? Like, I mean, he's coming from a mid-major, and Northern Iowa's a great program. Again, I'm not crapping on them, but like he's gonna get better.
No
Like,
doubt.
there's just no doubt in my mind that his body will get better after an off season with Pete and the strength and the way that they do strength and conditioning at Iowa State.
Yeah, just look how much more physical Keyshawn got from when he got here in June. He was a kind of a light guy
Yeah.
he was finishing at the rim, and Heisey's already put together. Hadley's put together. I mean, these guys already are ready made, but you're going to get better. Your stamina is going to get better, and that's why guys want to play at Iowa State right now. They have seen the work Iowa State has done with lesser talented guys and turn them into really good players. And so now the book is out. It's not TJ won't get fought over it because you have that existing culture in there. That's why, like a Conrad Hawley, it's
Yeah.
actually big that he's coming back. He does have another
Oh.
year, Conrad, the CEO, is because he will lead. He leads by example. He's the first one there. He's the last one to leave, and you cannot help but play hard when Conrad Hawley is around. Not to mention Taman and Keyshawn and all those guys. So, yeah, I think this team it's going for it, and I think doing it in a really smart way. And there's nothing slowing this thing down. I just think Iowa State is going to be really, really good, and these moves are going to go under the radar. But when you see them collectively, you're going to look at the preseason offensive analytics and go, "Oh my gosh, where did Iowa State come from?" That's where it's headed.
So we have all summer to talk about this, but I will make the statement right now on April 7th. With football is going to be, at the worst case scenario, top 5 in the Big 12 preseason.
Yes.
You're looking at men's basketball preseason top 10 conservatively.
In the nation, not
Yeah.
top 2 or 3 in the conference.
Women's basketball, definitely preseason top 25. I would make the argument probably preseason top 15.
Agreed.
And I don't like. Here's the deal. I don't trust the AP poll, and like maybe not, but I think that that's where they're going to be. Like as far as what kind of a team they are. Wrestling, top 5.
Yep.
Maybe the most anticipated Iowa State athletic season in history.
Yeah, volleyball's got a lot of bunch of people coming back too, for what it's worth. But yeah, it's
they had that freshman who was unbelievable, Gonzalez, right?
yes,
Yeah, I love watching her, man, on Friday nights.
I think Chrissy's got kind of, they had a pretty even last couple of years. I think they're on the upswing now. But yes, this is.
Am I wrong? You know,
No,
Iowa State
you're right.
history better than I do. Like,
hey,
it seems.
Yeah, it seems like we're in that 2000, 2001. But the cliff's not at the end here. I don't think. I really don't. We got a text from somebody who was at practice for football yesterday. It said, "Boys," this quote, "Boys, the clones are coming." So, and somebody we
They're
trust.
excited at football.
Yeah. So I think things are going. I think you've got all those existing pieces that have gotten better in the off season. So yeah, it's just a really cool time, and I think that's the neat part is, yeah, that you enter a little bit about college athletics, but the summer is so much more enjoyable than it was, let's say, a year ago at this time. because Chris, a year ago at this time, we hadn't
God.
even got into the gambling stuff
It
yet.
was all gambling once
Yeah,
that hit. It was
that
the
was May
most.
1.
It was gambling and realignment.
Great, right, and it's like the football season just kind of was like, oh, the football season's here, and everyone thought you were going to be awful. It is totally different this year. It just changes the expectations. I would guess, without knowing, I think Iowa State's going to sell a bunch of season tickets. I know for basketball they already have. I mean,
It's
it's going
probably
to be
going to sell out with
it's going to sell
basketball.
out for basketball. I think football's trending that way as well.
I hope the women's comes close to like setting a ticket record too. I would think with the amount of publicity that Audie Crooks is going to get, that the women's tickets should be at an all-time high. I would hope.
Yes, I agree, and that's great entertainment, clearly, and that's the women's college basketball is not slowing down. Now you'll lose a little bit of the star power, but it's here to stay. I firmly believe that. I just think, yeah, it's there's never been a better time. There's never been a better time, and it's cool as you transition Oklahoma and Texas out. We're officially done with those guys. That's great. That now it's kind of like, why can't Iowa State be the power?
I would also point out that it's not a coincidence that this all happened when you started paying the players.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
I said that as I wear my We Will Collective hat, by the way. This is fantastic. Tell the guys thank you for sending this to me, too, by the way.
Yeah, so I'm going, I got my golf balls ready to go. I'm going to Arizona for a couple days. So let's hope.
What are you going to Arizona
Vacation. For? My dad retired, so we're taking him down to Arizona to golf and stuff. So
that's
that'll
awesome.
Be fun.
Good for you.
But
I was going to encourage everybody to go buy Ames Lager with that. It was a segue.
Yeah, go buy your, because I'm telling you guys, unfortunately it matters. We would not be, and again, it's not me, it's you guys for what you've done to support. We would not be in this position if not for the literally 6,000 donors to the We Will Collective that we have. I mean, it's not possible.
And even the point I was going to, so that's huge. But then you have the people who are buying the pizza and the beer and like that all, like, I know the numbers that you're pulling in on that, and like you wouldn't like next year. So my point is, when you're out there and you're at Fairway, buy a 6-pack,
please.
Right? Like it really matters. Buy 4 of them and just stock up every time you go. That's kind of anytime I see it, I'm like that with these damn pizzas now.
Oh, the pizzas are.
I'm trying to be healthier, and now I'm buying all these frozen pizzas wherever I can get my hands on them because they're really freaking good.
But hey, we can call them the Brandton Chatfield pizzas.
They're the analytical,
the Moneyball pizzas right there.
The money.
No, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, that's what gives me some extra pride here. Is everyone kind of wrote Iowa 2 years ago? Tyrese Hunter left. It was almost 2 years to the day.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of wrote Iowa State's death sentence with college athletics. And you could argue it's never been a better time for Iowa State athletics, thanks to Iowa State fans stepping up and answering the call. And are we first? We're definitely not first, but we're giving the coaches at least enough to stay competitive. And that's what we need to keep doing.
Ames Lager and West O Brewing are now supporters of Cyclone Fanatic as well. So we always are pushing people towards our great sponsors. Yeah. We're going to look to get up to Okoboji area. I know we're already kicking around dates on that. I think it may be locked in.
We've got a date figured out. I will, once we know it and we got more concrete plans, we'll announce it to the public.
Point is, we're going to have a Cyclone Fanatic Roadshow in Okoboji.
That's right.
This summer. So perk up if you're a Northwest Iowa person. Maybe you're just vacationing in Okoboji. We are going to be out at West O. So buy the Ames Lager. It not only supports the We Will Collective, all of our free content here at Cyclone Fanatic.
That's
as
right.
Well. The football scrimmage from yesterday, I will have as detailed as I can because I obviously wasn't there. I don't have everything. But I'm going to have a wrap-up of this for our premium subscribers and our Patreon subscribers. It will be at some point on Monday when I have that. So if you're a subscriber out there, look forward to that. But Blum, what kind of rumblings do you know? We both got a text from the same person who was completely amped up about this. And this is a person who's been around a long time and seen a lot of these things. And he was really excited. Do you have any deets you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I got a little bit. Your update will be a lot better, but Just some guys that have kind of popped here in spring that maybe you haven't. You know the big names, right? And I think let's just start with that. The big names have shown up in a big way, specifically on offense. So Rocco has been great. I think you're looking at a couple wide receivers who will be NFL guys. Somebody told me this offseason that Jalen Knoll is the best leader they've had since Brock Purdy. I mean, you may not think of a wide receiver as being a leader, but Jalen's the real deal. And then Jaden Higgins has been awesome. Ben Bramer continues to get better, and the running back situation I think is going to be pretty good. I mean, between Sama and Hanson, you got some guys, and then now you got a couple change of pace guys and Lee and the dude from Eastern Michigan. But I'll say just some names that you haven't heard of yet that have been pretty good. Um, Cooper Ebel has been really good. Rural Iowa kid, walk on, not a walk on, uh, but a scholarship guy. I think he's second year. Caleb Bacon continues to get better. He's turning himself into an NFL player. And then how about on the defensive line? Kennard Snyder's the Monroe transfer, who Iowa State picked up. And then also Zamir Hawk has been disruptive on the defensive line. So get some bodies that you're going to need there on the defensive line, and Iowa State's got some guys that are hanging in there. And again, one other name I'll mention that has been good, and you kind of forget about it because you lost TJ Tampa, but Darian Porter has had a really good offseason. And
Good. That's huge.
yeah, I think you're going to have to slot him. I mean, it's probably him and John Tez at that one corner spot with Miles Purchase on the other, but all three of those guys are going to need to play. So the fact that Porter is played well, he's put on some weight. They're expecting a very nice year from Darian Porter.
Well, I thought that went under the radar in terms of fan interest when Porter returned.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
I mean, we saw last year too. I thought last year was just a great example of the depth in that secondary because we went into the year and we thought like, oh, the secondary's locked down, and then until Freeler and Cooper and like those guys can stay healthy, like it's kind of a crapshoot, really. And those guys are really good when they're on the field. And I'm missing a bunch of guys too because they hit so damn hard.
Well, and Malik
Verdon is the other one. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
I got too many names in my head with all these portal targets and like these. And now is spring football. It's like half these guys. It's like, oh yeah, they recruited that kid 3 years ago, and now he's on the field. And like, I don't have the memory I used to. Apparently, it's too much Cody Road. I don't know.
Too much. Hey man, we all get there. We all get there at some point. I know all the young people are like, you guys are idiots. So, hey, it'll happen to you too, everybody.
Yeah, you
just
guys
wait.
Just wait.
Those kids fry your brain cells.
Yeah. Again, I'll have that coming up tomorrow at some point for our subscribers. And Rob and Connor have been doing a great job too with all of our spring football coverage. I know they have media availability coming up on Monday, so dig into all of our football coverage.
Yeah, Rob had a really good article over the weekend about the offense going to be a little bit more aggressive.
I love the quote from Rocco.
Yes.
Come here. Sorry, if you're watching on YouTube and you're like, hey, Chris, why have you been... Thank you, Cameron. Why have you been leaning down? My dog had something in its mouth, and I was keeping it from swallowing it. It's just a disaster when I try and do these shows, and the wife's not here, and anyways, yeah, I loved Rocco's quote because you know me, I'm an air raid guy. He's like, we're gonna throw it more, and we're gonna throw it deeper. Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, let's talk about.
Scratching me right where I itch.
Right.
I was texting with a friend on the football staff when Shieldhouse left, and I was like, tell Campbell he's got to go get Hal Mummy. He's a free agent. Get an air raid guy.
Like, shut up, Williams.
And they're like, I was like, I go, if I were your offensive coordinator, I would pass it 90% of the time. And they're like, you would never be our offensive coordinator. I'm like, well, the games you did it, you won. Sorry.
Do you know who's going to be really pumped up? This is the same guy. The throw it to Blythe guy who became the throw it to Lazard guy, who became the throw it to Butler guy,
oh, yeah.
who became the throw it to Hutchinson guy. That guy is going to have a great fall because now it's throw it to Higgins, throw it to Knoll.
Higgins is sick.
He's going to be great. He is, man. That was an undervalued pickup last year. He was a little bit of a slow start, but you could tell in that Iowa game he was something else, and he was, in my opinion, the best player on the field for that game against Memphis.
All right.
And he's got talent for sure.
Also want to thank, last but certainly not least, our friends over at Kelderman Manufacturing. Huge Cyclone fans. They are big supporters of what we do. They sponsor Woody and Mahoney here on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network. They've also done some stuff with We Will in the past. So Kelderman.com. I would recommend them for all of your laser cutting needs out there, farmers out there. We've talked about the down corn rail during your busy time of year, and then they do all the customizations on trucks. It's pretty sweet. Kelderman.com. Check them out down in Oskaloosa. Let's do our Whiffles Hybrids Big 12 segment, and it's going to be a little bit of a shorter show here on a Monday due to some family stuff for me. Whiffles Hybrids, plant your independence, plant Whiffles. Planting season is pretty much here. I have one note for us today. Jerome Tang stays at Kansas State after flirting with Arkansas. And, of course, Jerome had to put out a flashy video to announce that he was staying, even though he was under contract and had been telling us all how much he loves Manhattan. But he had to, had to get it out there and let everybody celebrate the fact that he was staying even after his NIT run at Kansas State, actually losing in the NIT to Iowa.
I'm just glad, C-Dub, that Iowa State didn't announce it before Tang could with their spies. so he at least got to keep that big moment for himself because he loves himself some attention.
Well, I don't know what's proper. I don't know.
Yeah,
Isn't it weird to announce that you're coming back even though this isn't.
You're not.
What are you coming
you're not
back
coming back
from?
For your senior year or something like?
Yeah, this is a weird deal to me.
I agree.
Is it just to celebrate yourself? It's an odd. That would be like you tweeting out, "Hey everybody, I'm coming back next year at the We Will Collective."
Right. Okay.
I'm coming back. I'm doing another one.
I'm doing it again.
Well, any of us could go apply for another job, Jerome. It doesn't mean we're going to get it. It's just really bizarre to me.
Yeah, but not surprising.
No, not surprising at all.
And then they had an interesting week. They got Doug McDaniel in the portal.
Good pickup.
Paid a bunch for him, but talk about ball heavy, dominant, needs the ball.
Changes their team.
Changes the team, good or bad.
Yeah, we'll see. But
he's a really good player. Don't get me wrong. And
for them,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
they're trying to recreate the magic with their what was it, Marquise Noel, their little guy a couple years ago that led them to the Elite Eight, but also a guy McDaniel who was academically ineligible at times at Michigan, and they stopped playing him on the road because he needed to go to class or something. Very weird situation there. But yeah, I think they're going to be interesting. Like always, they will not lack drama in Manhattan. I agree with you. I mean, Arkansas, where do they go now is a good question. I mean, they're actually looking at an Iowa native, Chris Jans, the guy at Mississippi State. Mississippi State.
Okay.
But it's like, man, Arkansas, that's a weird job too. I mean, there are a lot of cooks in that kitchen at Arkansas. So I guess I'm not surprised that Tang wouldn't want to go there, but yeah, I mean, it's not like Arkansas is, picking from the finest quality coaches either.
Yeah, the basketball carousel's it's a little different than it used to be. And the reason I say that,
it is.
I think the NIL's changed it. I think a lot of these guys, it's harder to hop the way that they used to because it's they've got to.
Because all your guys can leave to the school you're hopping to.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's easier just to stay in one spot and then if you want to build, right? If I'm Scott Drew right now, as an example, his agent's brilliant. His agent's always throwing him out and
nobody knows what he gets paid because he's private, so he's probably getting
getting a raise every year that his agent throws him out there like that. Is my point. But like, why would he leave at this point in his career when he basically owns the town?
Yep.
That Chip guy, the Magnolia guy, like is in his back pocket. Wrote the foreword to his book. Like you see what I'm saying? Like if let's say Scott Drew was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go and coach at Arkansas. I want to try something different." Well, then you gotta like you have to figure out the NIL scope. You've got to your relationships are different. I just don't
Yep.
think we're going to see as many guys job hop in this era
Yeah,
until things get settled a little bit.
right, because any situation you jump into is going to be unsettled because those guys can all leave. So let's say Scott Drew would have taken the Arkansas job. You're starting with maybe 2 scholarship guys when you get there. Like, that
Yeah,
would be a bad deal.
exactly.
Interestingly, the NIL thing has become a chip to stay as well, and I have a pretty good idea of how this happened. Tang was not real happy with their NIL situation this past year, from what I understand, and so that's where a lot of the noise came from of, "You better help me out or else I'm gonna start looking," type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds like K-State did, and they really stepped up in the NIL world specifically to support basketball to make him happy so he would stay. And so the NIL stuff is now going to be just like in the past, C-Dub, if it was, facilities or salaries for your assistant coaches or your travel budget or whatever it is, your recruiting abilities, having a budget for your NIL and knowing what you're getting into, coaches will use that now as leverage to stay, as in,
Yeah.
you better get me this much or I'm going to start looking. And if you look at, let's say, a bigger picture for a college athletics department, let's say your college athletics department, just around numbers, $100 million. Your NIL budget for basketball, let's say, is 2.5. That seems like a small price to pay in order to keep somebody you want. And so you're going to see a lot of these coaches will now lean into the leverage of, not for myself, but I better get some help on the NIL runway in order for me to remain at your school. So that's the next wave. It's not necessarily coaches hopping. It's the threat of, if you don't give me NIL support, I will start looking somewhere else.
What a fascinating world
It
we live
is.
in. So when do you go to Arizona again?
I'm leaving Friday morning.
Okay, so we'll do Williams and Blum Wednesday.
At some point, yeah, we'll figure it out.
You will be gone for next Sunday.
Yep, gonna play some
playing?
golf. And my brothers are in charge, so it's my 3 brothers and my dad are all going. We're gonna go to a couple Cardinals Diamondbacks games. It'll be a good time and play some golf too.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
So
happy birthday to Dennis. I love that guy.
Happy retirement.
Oh, retirement. Sorry.
Yes.
Happy retirement to Dennis.
Yes.
Oh man, that means Dennis can be around more now. This will be great.
he's you know him. He's he'll be around. He'll be coaching them up. He'll be officiating youth sports and
he can come coach the
all the
Turtles
good
with
stuff.
me. I need more coaching mentors.
If you need a base umpire, he's your guy.
Well, always looking for help here at the prestigious Bondurant Little League. Are your boys playing this year? Are they in action?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. We're ready to go. I've been concentrating on yelling at the base umpires myself, so I'm in midseason form already.
We're a really defensive heavy team, and I won't lie, I've been doing a little tampering with a couple of girls' dads in the league. Been taking them out the reclaimed rails, schmoozing a little bit, trying to get them in the portal. Portal opens next week, right before the season.
Have you been looking at the analytics? Did you hire?
I don't have any analytics. I just know that I need bats.
We need offense.
We're an elite defensive team last year, and we lost every game 2-0. Like,
we're not worried about defensive zone rating. We're looking at exit velo. Can you hit the ball hard? Let's go.
Yeah, we were the worst offensive team in the league last year, and we were eliminated in the first round.
Hey
Defense doesn't win.
It's like Ken Pom. You got to be top 40 in both.
we were like 10 in defense and 300 in offense last year. So, anyways. All right, he's Brent Blum. I'm Chris Williams. Appreciate all of you guys watching on YouTube, listening on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network. We will be back on Wednesday.